Hello, everybody. We're going to begin the webinar right now. Thank you for joining us all today on this collaborative webinar with ABC FinTech, where we're going to be discussing the use case of tokenization with commercial real estate. We're very grateful that you're joining us this morning or this evening, wherever you are in the world. And we're excited to walk you through how ABC was able to optimize their business using Polymath's capital platform. Just a couple housekeeping notes. As you know, this meeting is being recorded and we will send you a recording within the next 24 to 48 hours. There's also a Q&A feature enabled at the bottom of the meeting. So if you have any questions as we go, please put them in there and then I will be moderating and sharing these with the team at the end of the webinar so we can answer any pending questions that you might have. With that, I will hand over the mic to the rest of the team.
Welcome, everybody. I just want to actually say thank you for joining this webinar. What you're going to see is a collaboration and partnership and a longstanding partnership that we've had with ABC Tokens for several years now. Really value the relationship we had with Matt and Mike. They've really helped to set the course in the direction of what they needed from a platform, from a turnkey as well, and with a real focus on real estate as well in this particular asset class. This is it's an interesting vertical because it is a transformation of an asset class turning from one traditional asset type to a security. And so we're excited to be able to present with the team from ABC to discuss exactly how we supported them and how they supported us through this partnership. Over to you, Mike or Matt.
I'll chime in here. I'm Matt Andelman. I'm the CEO of ABC FinTech. We're based in Chicago, and very grateful and excited to be here today to kind of share our story. And I wanted to open with something humorous today. I Googled tokenization jokes, and what I found was that jokes can be securely tokenized now, purchased, licensed, and utilized via smart contracts, preventing theft and ensuring fair compensation. So,
there's no joke.
Just goes to show you anything can be tokenized. I do feel like ABC and Polymath are both giving back. And for the past 2 years, like Vince said, we've been collaborating. ABC's been consulting on the development of the Polymath Capital, and the product is now being offered for free to everyone. So I do want to, again, thank Vince Cater and the whole Polymath team for their commitment to helping our industry grow. Because of them, you can now create, a marketplace, one company, one offering, one token at no charge. And it's called their Start Me Up program. So please check it out and you'll learn more about it today. It's worth considering if anyone out there is thinking about tokenizing an asset. So I think it's game-changing stuff. And I hope our presentation today is educational and leaves, everyone here having learned something.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Vince. So before we dive into today's conversation about how Polymath unlocks the power of tokenization in real estate specifically, let's quickly cover tokenization as a concept, how it works, and why it matters. Tokenization, very simply, is just the representation of any valuable asset in the form of a blockchain token. It's quickly gaining traction across every asset class and becoming a key real-world use case for the next generation of Web3 and blockchain technology. In fact, as you can see on the chart there, some experts predict that nearly $20 trillion of assets are going to be tokenized and moved on-chain in the next decade or less. For context, we're about 600 billion worth of assets moved on-chain and tokenized in 2025. So big opportunity here over the next decade. In our view, there's 3 big reasons driving this shift. First, blockchains are simply more efficient for handling issuance, trading, settlement, and custody issues, all in real time, while by comparison, the old traditional TradFi processes for these actions are slow and cumbersome. Secondly, tokenization unlocks liquidity by enabling fractional ownership and global 24/7 trading. This is especially powerful for real estate in the development and commercial spaces, which previously were very limited investor pools, high barriers to entry, some of the best performing asset classes, but only a very few got access. Now with tokenization, that's all changing. And then finally, tokenization guarantees transparency while improving all these other things. Blockchains allow for self-custody of the asset and full visibility of all transactions. And that creates a trust authority. So that's sort of bull case on tokenization. Now, As you can see, this has some major benefits across all asset classes. But in our view, real estate entrepreneurs and real estate investors are uniquely positioned to take advantage of this new technology. As we mentioned before there, tokenizing real estate allows for fractional global ownership and 24/7 trading. And these two features combined really brings real estate in line with other asset classes like stocks and bonds, ETFs, and crypto, where worldwide digital trading and investing is already the norm. So this democratizes access to real estate, and that takes it from exclusively a Wall Street asset class over to Main Street. Further, and this is sort of an underappreciated aspect, tokenization offers more flexibility in portfolio construction because any valuable asset can be tokenized, whether it's a full portfolio, a specific property, or even just one value stream or derivative associated with a property or fund. Real estate investors can use tokenization to construct a more creative, diversified, and finely tuned portfolio than they otherwise could by relying exclusively on REITs or on their own private property purchases. And then finally, for portfolio managers, tokenization can automate or replace expensive and time-consuming back-office processes. This is things like investor onboarding, accreditation checks, identity verification, transfer custody settlement procedures. By using the power of blockchain technology and self-custody wallets to replace the TradFi systems and third-party integrations, this really unlocks time and financial savings as well. And that's pretty much what the Polymath platform does at its core. So with all that in mind, hopefully you're excited. I'm going to hand it off to Jeff Wilson, who's Polymath's Director of Operations, who will give us an overview of the Polymath Capital platform and some of its key features.
So what we built is a white labeled solution that has two sides to it: an issuer side and an investor side. An issuer side for provisioning, cap table management, setting up all the information that ties into compliance and distributions. And on the investor app, that's where the KYC is done that Adrian referred to for compliance. You'll see your portfolio with profit and loss, etc. More about this a bit later too. We have a peer-to-peer secondary trading capability that's internal to the platform that provides that liquidity that up to now has been largely absent in the real estate. The tool, going through a couple of the key features on the right, you have full control over your setup, your marketplaces, the asset you create, what your offerings look like, things like jurisdictions, etc. We will white glove you onto the platform as required. Once the homework is done, it's literally hours to get things configured and available for investors to log in. Full cap table management. The tool can be run standalone as a cap table tool with the data and the token on. Once you've added more capability in your provisioning, the cap table becomes an output of primary purchases and orders, always exportable, of course, for compliance and review purposes. The investor CRM allows you to stay connected with your investors, finding out where they are in their process, reviewing all documents that have been submitted. Of course, that's an important compliance thing, that everything that's submitted can be fetched. We allow both online and offline payment mechanisms. So you can pay, for instance, in real time with USDC that settles right away. We also allow for offline payments like wire transfers and checks if you prefer, again, fully configurable by the issuer. I mentioned about secondary trading. So per marketplace, like the one that ABC Tokens has set up, there is an internal peer-to-peer bulletin board trading capability. The seller can put some tokens up for sale, can review orders by buyers, and then approve, and they get settled through USDC. So that's a really important capability that we think differentiates our platform from others that might be out there. And then an umbrella, or under it, depending on how you look at it, for all this is the need to be compliant. Matt had mentioned, and Adrian too, about everybody going through a KYC or a KYB process, including ABC. They had to go through the same thing. Issuers can't just come on the platform and put in a token. They have to go through a rigorous process, just like every investor. We have an accreditation capability that allows an issuer to have a higher level of scrutiny than simple ID verification. And all that information then becomes part of your digital signature on the underlying Polymesh blockchain. And then on the investor side, it's a web responsive app for investors to see their view of a marketplace. What's shown on their left there is a view of a detailed order where you'd be in there actually placing an order. But really the important thing here is, especially for, I'll say, the younger crowd. I know my older son would buy into this for sure. In your hands, sitting watching the ball game, you've got access to everything that you need to track your portfolio, make trades, buy new purchases, interact with the issuer. So everything's right in front of you as an investor to do all the things that you have to do. Mentioned about the payment methods. And again, just want to reinforce, every investor, whether they're an individual or an institution, they do have to go through a full onboarding KYC process. It does government document verification, proof of address, AML, PEP scans, et cetera. So a lot of rigor on both the issuer side and the investor side around onboarding and compliance.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeff. And here's the best part about our platform. It's actually free to get started, completely free. So when you sign up today as a new issuer using our Start Me Up solution, you can create a marketplace, an asset, and an offering with zero upfront cost or commitments required so that you can raise capital quickly and get back to building your core business. That's kind of what we're all about here. Polymath is the only tokenization solution in the market that has a completely free tier for new users. This is a game changer for real estate developers looking for new ways to raise construction financing, or fund managers looking to expand their investor base while also saving time and money on their back office operations. We designed this program to completely eliminate the barriers to entry and help you unlock the power of tokenization right away. So with that in mind, I want to turn it over to a group of entrepreneurs who have unlocked the power of tokenization. Matt Andelman and Mike Andelman of ABC FinTech will give us their presentation on their tokenization use and the ABC token.
All right. We are ABC FinTech. Again, we're based in Chicago. ABC stands for Asset Backed or AI Blockchain Commercial Real Estate, or Always Be Closing, or easy as ABC. Any of those will work. FinTech, of course, is financial technology, and that's the industry we're in. I say private, global, and liquid because we're a private company investing in private deals. Global because we have global investors and global opportunities. Some of you know about our portfolio company, Electric Social, in downtown Berlin, Germany. Others know about our tequila, El Nacimiento, which is produced in Jalisco, Mexico, and shipped around the world. And then, of course, we hope everyone knows about our tokenized commercial real estate fund, which is the topic of conversation today. And then liquid, it is our team's goal, and we strive every day to provide maximum for our tokenized investments on the ABC FinTech marketplace. So as always, we like to start with a little bit of education first. It's good to have some foundational knowledge, and we know there's a lot of newbies out there new to the space. So what is blockchain? Well, and actually, we know people confuse blockchain, cryptocurrency, and tokenization. Many think that the three of those essentially mean the same thing, and in reality they're quite different. So let's talk about blockchain. It's digital ledger technology, and it's used to securely record transactions and ownership information. So it is the underlying technology used for both cryptocurrency and tokenization. What is cryptocurrency then? Well, to answer that, we have to be more specific. Let's start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is by far the most popular cryptocurrency. I believe the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies is around 3.3 trillion. Bitcoin is about 60% of that. So 60% of the money in cryptocurrencies is in Bitcoin. It's digital money you can send to anyone, anywhere without a bank. Some people consider it like digital gold. I consider it like the people's money. And I say that because it's not a government issued fiat currency, unlike, our Federal Reserve that can print dollars, increasing the supply. Bitcoin has a maximum supply of 21 million that will never increase, and it's decentralized. So there is not one entity that controls it. Let's talk about Ether. Ether is the native cryptocurrency for the Ethereum. You can consider the Ethereum blockchain to be like a global playground computer that everyone everywhere can play on at the same time. People use it to make games. They can use it to make apps for trading art or money. And every time somebody uses it, they pay for those transactions in the form of, they use Ether to pay for transactions, smart contract executions, and network fees on the Ethereum ERC20 network only. And so you can kind of think of it as like, fuel that gasses up the car. Meme coins. Meme coins have no intrinsic value. This kind of gets me every time. They're pure speculation, and they often originate from silly internet jokes. But even with the high volatility, high risk, there's billions of dollars that pour into these, and to me, it's hilarious. Stable coins. Stable coins are pegged to the US dollar, so 1 to 1, and this is important because stable coins are used in the Polymath Capital platform and for private trading. So USDC, which is Circle, and USDT, which is Tether. Again, those are examples of stable coins, and it's 1 to 1 to the US dollar. And lastly is PolyX. So PolyX is to the Polymesh blockchain as Ether was to Ethereum. So PolyX is the native cryptocurrency for the Polymesh blockchain. It's used to pay for transaction fees and reward node operators. And we know that the Polymesh blockchain was designed and built for regulated digital assets, so like securities. So kind of an example of what PolyX is used for is when you create a marketplace, when you create a company, when you create an offering, this is all on-chain. And when you mint tokens and distribute tokens, all of those things cost PolyX. And so fortunately, Polymath Capital Platform covers that for you. It's happening in the background. It's important to know that's happening in the background, but you don't have to think it's complicated. You don't have to buy PolyX to pay for those transactions. The Polymath Capital Platform takes care of all of that for you. Okay. So what is tokenization then? We talked about blockchain. We talked about cryptocurrency. So what is tokenization? Well, it's turning something real, like property, fine art, precious metals like gold and silver, or tequila, into digital ownership shares called tokens that live on blockchain. And I think Mike wanted to chime in and say a little something about.
I'll add to that. First of all, as a footnote, the first blockchain was conceived in 2009 specifically for trading. Since then, though, there have evolved more than 1,000 blockchain platforms that map to various applications. One of the most recent uses of a blockchain, in fact, is for medical devices and medicines to track for recalls and other issues that might arise for people who are using those. In the case of ownership shares that live on a blockchain, that means that you own a piece of something like a building or a tequila company, and your ownership piece is permanently stored safely and securely on a blockchain that sits on the internet so that everyone can see that it's yours. And in the case of Polymath and ABC, the Polymesh blockchain, which is now part of the Polymath company, is a specifically built blockchain for the type of secure registered securities that we're offering to our investors.
Yep. And so, we've got the commercial real estate photo here on the left. We've got a colorful rendition of the Mona Lisa painting in the middle. And that's our tequila aging in barrels on the right. And it's important, again, to know the value of the tokenized asset is what drives the value of the token. So whether it's the real estate appreciating in value, if it's the artwork appreciating in value, or the tequila appreciating in value, the tokens should rise in value then because they are representing ownership in that asset. Okay, so who are we? Who we are? We're ABC FinTech. We're an operating company. You could also think of us like asset managers, like a BlackRock. So we come up with and we offer investment products. We offer private equity deals and commercial real estate investments. And the opportunities range from, like I said, like tequila to location-based entertainment concepts to real estate. And coming soon is movies and television shows. So if anybody, after the presentation wants to reach out and learn more about any of this, please do. Eventually, all of these opportunities will be found on ABC FinTech's marketplace on the Polymath Capital platform. And the first investment product was the ABC token. And so what is that? Again, the ABC token represents fractional ownership in our portfolio of commercial real estate. So it is an evergreen fund, and it's similar to a REIT. A REIT is a real estate investment trust. And what does evergreen mean? Evergreen means that we have no intention of selling off the properties and closing down the fund. We want the portfolio to grow until the end of time or the sun explodes, whichever comes first, I guess. So tokens represent fractional ownership of all the properties. Our current token value is $19.24, which is a little less than 93% appreciation in about 4 years. So I think we're doing pretty good. Why we're different, and of course, joking about the quiz, but hope everybody pays attention because this stuff is worth remembering. We talked about one real estate token. So again, this is how we're different from other tokenized real estate. Other sponsors are tokenizing individual properties. So every single property has a different token. This is a fund structure. So we have one token representing fractional ownership in all of the properties. How is our strategy different? Well, we have a raise first strategy. So unlike property owners who are tokenizing their assets, to maybe gain some liquidity, get some cash out, raise capital, we are raising capital first and then acquiring the properties. And so you're not choosing the property. Our team of experts chooses the best deals as we raise funds, and we'll add more and more properties to the portfolio over time. So what does that mean, and why is that better for investors? Well, we target a greater ROI. It's often said that you make money on the buy, and we know that cash buyers, usually offering a quick close, they typically get the best deals. So if you buy at the right price, making money is easy. And so with that strategy, we can maximize investor returns, again, using that raise first strategy and looking for distressed value add and opportunistic deals. We've already talked about ABC being an evergreen fund, but I want to kind of highlight the asterisk at the bottom. So if there was a liquidation event and we were to sell off all the properties, the capital is distributed to ABC token holders pari passu, which means equal treatment. There's no one first in line. And then, of course, how are we different from other traditional private real estate funds? Well, we have tokenized the ownership with the Polymath Capital platform, which allows investors to buy, sell, and trade ABC tokens in our private marketplace. And kind of before we get into how we did that, I want to look forward for a second. So, on our roadmap into the future here, we have every intention of this being democratized and providing global access for everyone. We want everybody to have access to our portfolio and benefit from our team's ability to source exclusive deals and pick top performing commercial real estate assets. The image to the right is a great example. Some of ABC's advisors are currently working on redevelopment projects, like outdated and mostly vacant high-rise office buildings, and converting them to affordable housing using tax credits. And while we missed the boat on this one, it's a 1.2 million square foot building in Houston. There are many more in the pipeline. We just need to raise the capital. These are like $200 to $300 million projects. And we don't have to raise all of it or tokenize the whole thing. You can tokenize just a piece of it and provide access for your investors to own a little piece. And then we also have access to ground up triple net retail developments that are offering like a 30 to 35% return on investment and an exit horizon in like 9 to 12 months. So these are the type of things that we're looking for and want to provide our investors access to. We can talk about AI for a second. Lots of different ways to leverage AI. I want to talk specifically about our token value though. Right now we publish a valuation report once a year. And then that token value is static, right? Until we publish the next one. Of course, on the peer-to-peer trading side of things, it could trade for higher or lower. But what we would like to produce publish a token value more frequently. And we can use AI to do that. So for example, we know that when interest rates increase, typically commercial real estate values trend downward. So if the headlines are reading that interest rates rose, well, I think the ABC token value should adjust accordingly. Another example is if, a percent of our portfolio is in Class B office buildings in the western suburbs of Chicago. And we read in maybe a Q4 Collier's report that vacancy rates are down, occupancy rates are, the highest of all time, rents are increasing. Well, that should have an effect on our token value. I think the token value should increase in that situation. We also have a vision for staking. So while the tokens represent fractional ownership of all of the real estate, we have a vision where you could stake your ABC token in a specific property, giving investors more control. A bridge to DeFi, an example there is right now, let's say you had $10,000 of Bitcoin, you can borrow, say 50% of that by putting up your Bitcoin as collateral. You don't talk to a person. You don't fill out an application, you don't have your credit checked, and it's instant. You put up your Bitcoin and it's instant, you get cash in your bank account. I'd like to see the same thing happening with ABC tokens, where you could pledge your ABC tokens as collateral. You don't want to sell them, but you need some cash, and you can borrow against them. Talk about a $1 billion portfolio value and 250,000 investors. I don't know if this is going to take us a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but it will happen. And that's an average of $4,000 per investor. And one of, I'll say loosely, a competitor of ours, Fundrise, that's been around for a long time and offers fractional ownership of commercial real estate. I believe they're north of 450,000 investors now. So I think, especially using the Polymath Capital platform to power us and power our technology stack, this is doable. Why Polymath? I will let Mike chime in here.
We've had a trusted relationship with Polymath since 2023 when we collaborated with them on the development of the Polymath Capital platform. This diagram illustrates what our enterprise technology architecture is, but it reflects our business processes in a really important way. On the left side, we have back office applications, which are pretty common solutions that a lot of companies use. We built a website beginning in 2021 when we also registered with Polymesh to mint security tokens. When we originally launched our investor portal, which is the middle graphic there with all the white circles around it, we chose a best of breed solution, but it was an independent company that not directly involved with blockchain and issuance of security tokens. So we had some pretty serious gaps in there. We had a CRM, we had a payment processing, we had document e-sign, we had accreditation and KYC. We did not have private trading, which you'll see at about 1 o'clock on the diagram there. We did not have a native wallet, and we did not have a native cap table that was maintained in real time. And from the red dotted line arrow, we did not have an integration directly to the Polymesh blockchain. All of that changed in the summer of 2025 when the current release of the Polymath Capital platform was made available, and we migrated to that in July of this year. And then I'll just say phase 2 of our business development process was to employ a digital marketing strategy to educate. That's really key to any of the people that are listening to this presentation that are not yet in this space, because education is key to acquiring customers and asset holders that want liquidity. We participated in podcasts, we established a social media presence, and we leveraged crowdfunding. In phase 3, we implemented our first investor portal in 2022 and began recruiting small investors, which today total more than 300. So
Thanks,
I'll pass it back to Matt now for the rest of the slide.
Thanks, Mike. I did want to talk a little bit more here about public permission blockchain. So about Polymesh, I know Adrian gave and Jeff gave us some overview of that, but want to say that public means anyone can create an account and generate a digital wallet to issue, buy, sell, or trade security tokens. And all transactions and token records are visible, meaning you don't need to pay just to look at it. So it's public because transparency is built in, and regulators and auditors can check transactions. It's permissioned because you can't just join and start transacting freely. Every participant, whether you're an investor, issuer, or validator, must be verified and meet compliance requirements like KYC, AML. So only authorized participants can perform certain actions like issuing security tokens or running validator nodes. We can talk about KYC for a second. So that's like identity verification. And creating your account is a little like opening a brokerage account with Charles Schwab or another financial institution. You have to provide your driver's license and like proof of address, right? So maybe a utility bill or a redacted bank statement. And that's a good thing because it's more than just an identity check. They're really checking in the background for bad actors, whether that means, criminals, terrorists, money laundering. And so, and we want to keep those out. So this is a really good thing, and we only want good actors participating in this ecosystem. Of course, it's easy to mint and transfer tokens and no seed phrase. For all you cryptocurrency enthusiasts out there, I don't know if you have any experience losing your password and also losing your seed phrase. When that happens, you have lost your tokens for good. There is no getting them back. Fortunately, that's not an issue here. There's a lot more safety, security, and control for both issuers like ABC and investors, and there's no risk of that loss. Then there's cap table management. Obviously, Mike talked about some of those things, cap table management, electronic signatures, payment rails, all of that stuff. The UI is super easy to use, and it's even fun sometimes, I'll say, for a nerd like me. Mike, you want to take this one?
So yeah, so we're interested in working with people who are pursuing this line of business. We've been at this for more than 5 years and witnessed the concept of asset tokenization evolve from bleeding edge to a pretty wide acceptance today. We're eager to meet with you and present a demo of our live website and platform. We're eager to discuss your project and provide help in planning for both legal services and regulatory compliance, technology integration, which I illustrated to you. That graphic that I showed you, with the exception of the website, is an entirely codeless, out-of-the-box implementation of solutions, including PCP. Jeff mentioned white label service for onboarding for the Start Me Up system. I can tell you that he does an amazing job with that, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of work to define your product, your marketing strategies, and the type of assets that you want to tokenize.
Yeah, again, call us for a demo. We'd love to spend a little bit of time with you and show us how we use it. And Polymath has given everybody an incredible opportunity here with the Start Me Up program, to use it for free. Okay, and finally, you can help us too. We're looking for RIAs, that stands for Registered Investment Advisors, and wealth managers, and even broker dealers with an interest in alternative investments and tokenizing assets. Send us your commercial real estate and private equity deals. We possibly can help you raise capital, or maybe we even partner with you. I put market makers in quotes because I'm talking about just average private investors here. I'm creating accounts and helping provide some liquidity in our marketplace. If you're interested to learn more, give us a call. We have creative ways of rewarding people who help provide that liquidity. And then finally, create an account. It's free. Our URL is there. It's abctokens.com. You can sign up and pass KYC verification, and we would love to hear your feedback. And I'll say again, thank you. It is such a pleasure to be here and present. I think we had north of 250, maybe close to 300 people register for this webinar, which that tells me that we are in the right space, that this industry is growing, and we're really excited for the future.
All right. Thank you, everyone that has been listening. And thank you, Mike and Matt, obviously, for your in-depth knowledge and explaining how you guys have been able to use Polymath's capital platform to excel in your business. So we're going to start with some questions. So these are frequently asked questions that we get a lot. So we've just put these out as we've been receiving them a lot through social media. So the first question is, can the Polymath capital platform be used to tokenize any asset class or real world asset beyond regulated real estate? And I think I will hand that over to Vince to answer if you would like.
Yes, thank you. So Polymath can be used to tokenize any asset class. And we have actually tokenized many asset class beyond real estate: equities, commodities, precious metals, revenue streams as well, like future revenue streams, things that actually you may not think of in creative solutions, such as tokenizing whiskey barrels in order to subsidize, or a form of capital in order to age the barrels, actually, because that requires capital, even just distilled vodka actually sitting in a warehouse. So there's a lot of creative ways, and think of tokenization and the platform that we're building as a new formed way of forming capital, right? It allows you to be creative. It allows you actually to tie to an asset class, whether it be an asset class that you own right now, an asset or contract actually that you've got with a particular client, actually, that you there's a future revenue stream that's locked in, let's say of $10 million through the production of some facility. You can tokenize that right now, actually, and lock in that capital with an upside actually for your investors actually to gain on that, versus giving it to a traditional bank. So it's a different form of forming capital, and almost like a lending product that you're creating here, but in the form of a security.
Amazing. Thank you, Vince. And so second frequently asked question, and someone actually did pop something similar to this in the chat, actually. So how can security tokens be used to represent different capital structures within one project? And Errol Riza, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly, but you asked, when we talk about tokenization, it is good to clarify if we mean debt or equity, because there's different types of tokens. So which tokens are you referring to?
Yeah, well, I think just to repeat, it can be a token for debt, a token for equity. We could tokenize a bond, money market fund. Think about actually, again, anything that's actually operating in the public markets today obviously can be tokenized. A lot of private structures can be tokenized as well. Mortgage funds can be tokenized. And, you know, the ABC group actually, like they've got, again, a well-oiled machine here, and they're building a practice, you know, specifically for real estate.
All right, thank you. Another great question. So what are the best practices for moving from a traditional capital raise platform to tokenization? I think Matt and Mike, you might be a good answer for this one, seeing as you are one of the best clients on our platform and you can speak on your experience.
I'll take that one. We really believe that our enterprise architecture and our operating model demonstrates a best practices approach that we learned over a long period of time. Initially, I think the first step in business planning is to research and define your product, to research and define a go-to-market strategy that targets a specific audience that you bring value to acquire the resources, both capital budget and staffing, that have the subject matter expertise to support the business, and develop a coherent roadmap and timeline to track major projects and critical milestones. The second thing is develop a digital strategy to educate your audience. These things, compared to 5 years ago when we launched the company, are really well known, and it's easy to acquire the skills internally or to hire affordable agencies that can help you define and execute a digital strategy. Choose a blockchain that's purpose-built to support the type of securities and the type of commodities that you're going to tokenize. And, you know, with over 1,000 blockchains out there, we absolutely know that Polymesh is one of the most unique and focused solutions that provides the type of platform for tokenizing your assets. And choose a token issuer and investor portal solution that supports the business requirements and functional capabilities. Gaps that we had without being able to offer private trading until this year, and some of the other support for our investor portal caused us to implement a brief pause in our business until we had the tools to provide a 360-degree solution to our both our property owners and our investors. And the graphic that's attached to this PowerPoint slide gives you that 360-degree view that you get with Polymath Capital Platform.
Thank you, Mike, for that amazing answer. Another interesting question that I'm also going to refer to ABC for. Do you need SEC approval for the tokenization of real estate?
Well, we are not lawyers. I'll start with that. I can tell you that the first year we launched, we did a deep dive into securities laws, the Security Act of 1933 and 1934, and the Investment Company Act of 1940. And I guess the short answer is no, you don't. We have registered or filed on the Edgar filing system our ABC token because we felt like that was important, and it's a Reg D, what's called a Reg D 506C offering. But no, depending on your case, it is not always required.
But recommended.
Awesome. Thank you. There's a lot of really great questions. What misconceptions about tokenization do you encounter most often? I think that's a good one that we could have input from everybody on this chat.
I'll respond first. Security tokens representing real-world assets are not cryptocurrency. And I'm jumping on this one because In our original messaging 5 years ago on our website, we were not clear that security tokens were different from cryptocurrency. And about 12 months in, we basically cleaned our messaging up to basically remove references to cryptocurrency, with the exception of accepting it as tender to buy our security tokens. And that's a major misconception that I think hopefully webinars like this one will help clear up.
I want to chime in. I want to say one thing too. I think maybe I was naive early on and thought like, if you tokenize it, they will come, and that's not the case. So just tokenizing something does not mean that the capital starts flowing in, right? It's still the underlying investment opportunity. Whatever you're tokenizing, that's really what needs to attract the investors, and then you have to have a marketing strategy and really get your name out there. I mean, that's why I was flying around the country. I was on panel discussions. I've done webinars and podcasts, and we got to get better on social media and do our social media posts, because the only way to get people to have an interest in, I think, your investment is to educate them and get your name out there. Or I'll say work with registered investment advisors, wealth managers, and broker dealers.
100%. You have to have the proper asset, and it actually has to be a valuable asset when you're tokenizing it, because you can tokenize a shoe if you'd like, but if there's no value to the shoe, what are you going to do? Exactly. So very important, very key, but it does help increase the liquidity and the visibility and the ease of the investment when you do tokenize something. So thank you guys for both of your expertise on that one. What is the experience on the secondary market in terms of trading? Is there actually active trading in enough investors at all? And what types of investors are currently very active? Very interesting.
So the question is there actually trading right now?
Yeah. How active is secondary market trading, I guess, within?
It's a great question. And I would say not active. So, but that's also, there are very few tokens for sale. I mean, people are holding on to their ABC tokens. So that's one reason why it's not active. If there were tokens for sale, it would be more active. Also, ABC can buy back tokens, right? So kind of like a company buying back its own stock. And so if there were tokens for sale, I can tell you right now, ABC will start buying those back from our investors if they want to sell them. And then ideally in the future, we would have like an institutional market maker who's involved in this somehow. So still kind of a crawl, walk, run here. And I would say we're maybe leaving the crawl phase and starting to walk. But to answer your question, not much active trading at this current moment.
Yeah, I would
add to that. The Polymath Capital platform, we're not really tracking what other platforms are doing, but it's the first to enable the private trading that we're aware of. There are many companies out there that have real estate that's been tokenized. Most of those real estate assets that are tokenized, I would call inventory for the future when the market finally opens up for active trading and becomes more like what happens with the traditional stock exchanges and trading of company shares. The first unsolicited trade initiated within the last 2 weeks as we were preparing for this webinar. Our approach is to crawl, walk, run with introducing this to our investors. Quite a few of them know that this is available, but the actual learning curve is not completely intuitive. And so we're doing a lot of hand-holding with our investors to introduce this to them in a way that they can smoothly begin to participate in that kind of a market when they feel like they're ready. Again, Jeff Wilson's white glove treatment.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Someone asked, can startups tokenize shares of equity as a way to raise funds from investors with public access? I will speak on this actually, because this is actually one of the reasons why we created the Start Me Up freemium offer of the Polymath Capital platform, because we wanted startups to actually have a chance to test out our technology and our platform to raise their first rounds of funding, second rounds of funding, that's why we've actually created the free version, is so that you can actually test it out and see how you like it. And so yes, Start Me Up is available for everyone to use for free. Doesn't matter what you're trying to raise for, but that's why we created the offering. So definitely check it out. It's on our website, and you can get onto the platform for free and start your rate. Actually, and here's someone's answer. Aaron Crown, you actually gave us a provided answer about the SEC question that was answered. So he has written in, here's an answer. I'm a lawyer, but not anyone here's lawyer. You almost always have to make at least an SEC Form D filing. This is not a registration. It's a basic declaration of a private placement sale having taken place. In addition, state level blue sky filings and fees may apply. This is all routine and can all be streamlined with most security councils and compliance shops. Aaron, thank you very much for that. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add into that, but this is something that I was not aware of. And so I'm very grateful that we actually had an expert lawyer in the house to give us this.
Love it.
We might want to get in touch with him.
Yeah, Aaron, send us all a message. We'd love to speak with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another question, could real estate eventually become a new collateral layer for digital finance?
Ooh.
Yeah, well, so the short answer is yes. The slightly longer answer is yes, but we need a bit more acceptance from the lending platforms, right? The collateral accepting and lending platforms to accept, I guess, tokenized real estate. If you try to use traditional real estate as collateral for a loan, the way that exists sort of in private markets, residentially, you have home equity lines of credit that are pretty much offered in a few clicks by every major bank. It's a little bit more complicated for things like commercial or raw land and things like that. But as more and more real estate becomes represented on blockchains using tokens, you're going to have basically two types of lenders competing for that business. You're going to have this sort of traditional commercial lenders in the banking world, and then you're also going to have the DeFi world, right? DeFi lending platforms where you post. Right now, majority of them are you post Bitcoin or you post stable coins as collateral. But in the future, if you have a sophisticated and trusted security token that is on a world-class blockchain like Polymesh, there's no reason, and that has a value in a liquid marketplace, there's no reason why any DeFi lender wouldn't accept that. So needs a bit of work, needs a bit of education, but there's no technical reason why that couldn't happen.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. Mike and Matt, we'd like to hear your opinion on this question as well, and maybe your answer.
I will second what Adrian said. I thought he gave a great answer. I mean, I see lending, like you said, it could almost be in DeFi. It's more like peer-to-peer, right? And then as opposed to kind of traditional lenders wanting to get in the game and offer loans against the real estate tokens as collateral. So I thought that was a perfect answer.
Awesome. Thanks. And this is a direct question for you guys, Matt and Mike. Can non-US citizens buy ABC tokens?
They sure can. We've had non-US citizens buy tokens already.
Sweet. Good to know. So someone else asked if the Polymath Capital platform was going to be available in the EU and across like other countries. And yes, the platform is available globally, so you can use it anywhere. And so if you are in the EU and you are looking to raise or tokenize anything, you can do that as well.
And Abby, let me expand on my answer. I know, and I'm not sure if Jeff is still here and listening, but I think there was going to be an update to the production environment that was going to allow global investors to participate in these offerings, whereas maybe before that update, there was an issue because only it was Canada and the US, but it's very, very soon. Jeff, are you with us, and can you?
Yes, Phil, that's exactly right, Matt. So right now on the investor side, you can be anywhere. We did start with Canada and the US on the issuer side, but we're in development right now to deploy changes that allow a jurisdiction to be onboarded from anywhere in the world. There are some ways to work around it right now, and I'd say if you're in that position, contact us and we can help you walk through it. And then once the more official support is available, you wouldn't have to have that contact. But if you're looking to do that, we do have some backdoor ways to help you out and make it now.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. There's a lot of really good questions here. What are the regulations around secondary trading?
Oh boy, this is another legal question. I will say I don't believe Polymath has an ATS license yet. An ATS license is kind of what allows for, and what Polymath has provided now is really what's called a bulletin. I mean, it's a way for investors in a specific offering or a company to communicate with one another. And instead of calling the sponsor, like somebody calls me and says, "Hey, I bought these ABC tokens 2 years ago. How do I get rid of them?" Well, they can just go to their dashboard, go to trading, and offer up tokens, right? And now everybody who's participated in this ABC tokens offering can see that there's somebody who wants to sell them now and communicate, even negotiate that trade.
Yeah, and that's a fully peer-to-peer marketplace. So Polymath, we provide the rails, but we're not ourselves making that market. It's a peer-to-peer marketplace. As the issuer, you have the capability to turn that on or off, and you can also restrict that if you wish to accredited investors only. If for whatever reason you need to have that as a part of your compliance framework.
Awesome. Thanks all of you for your responses. We're going to do a couple more questions and then wrap it up just because I know everyone else has places to be. But this was actually a really interesting one. And I'd like Mike and Matt to even respond on this. We are keen to create a global marketplace for hotel tokens. We may start our startup journey from Canada and scale it up to a global platform. Do you think Canada is, in a relative sense, a good place to tokenize tangible hotel assets? I know you guys are based in the US, but maybe we can do that as a North American thing. And then maybe Vince, if you want to chime in on Canada's landscape, that'd be great.
I think North America is actually a good place. Canada or US, actually, there are tokenization projects happening on both sides of the border. The SEC and the regulator in Canada have both approved security token issuances backed by real estate, full stop, and utilizing Polymesh as its settlement layer. The comfort around our chain is that it's public permission. All node validators are financial services entities. They're all known to Polymesh, and then therefore they are known to the regulators as well. That provides regulators comfort that they can sleep at night, and that should provide investors, issuers, asset owners, people that utilize our platform equally comfort while they're sleeping at night as well. The environment, and I think Matt really nailed it on the head. Tokenization, it's not like, again, what he stated. Just because you build it and just because you're issuing it doesn't mean that they're going to come. It all comes down to the investment offering, the prospectus, what am I investing in? What am I getting in return, right? Because you're ultimately raising funding from third parties that you don't know, but you do want to know. And, this is a trusted relationship that a platform is brokering and blockchain is settling actually and creating that environment. So we start off with a trusted network that we built, a trusted chain that is operated, and now we're bringing in trusted parties like ABC actually in order to create the environments utilizing the tech that we built. Matt, do you have actually any?
I think you said everything that I would have added is just, again, it's the underlying asset. Are hotels a good investment? I don't know. Where's the hotel? How many rooms are there? What's the age of the building? So the answer could be maybe. I don't know. And I'll also add that, yes, we're a portfolio of real estate. I don't pretend to be the expert on every single different asset class. There's just no way that I could know everything about all of them. So we have asset-specific advisors on our advisory board with over 300 years of experience. Our hotel advisor is Nina Owen. So if you want, go look her up on LinkedIn, and I would say you should ask her that question.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. And I think we'll do one last question. And it's actually more of a question. You've kind of looped me in really nicely on this one, Matt. So you're talking about not being an expert in all asset classes, but I know ABC is going to be expanding asset classes that they want to be tokenizing. So would you like to maybe speak on that? I know you sort of teased out that there was going to be some tequila and maybe some movies. And so let's just talk about how we can expand tokenization beyond even commercial real estate.
Cool. So yes, just given knowledge, network, experience, we have opportunities being sent to us on a daily basis. And so one of the unique ones that was presented to me recently is through Cine City Studios Chicago. It's the second largest movie and TV studio here. And they said, hey, do we have any interest in helping them tokenize, and raise capital for movies and TV shows? And so, the obvious answer was yes. I can't pretend that I'm an expert in how that's going to work, but I'm certainly going to dive in, and I want to provide access to people who want that opportunity through our platform. Another one is tequila. I'm becoming intimately involved with a tequila brand called El Nacimiento. 100% additive free. There's no celebrity. It's just the best tequila on the market, for the money. And so, why not tokenize the Blanco that's being aged in these, American white oak whiskey barrels from Jack Daniel's, Tennessee. We flew the whiskey barrels down there and we aged the Blanco tequila in there. So, let's tokenize it. This stuff excites me. And we're really fortunate to have the Polymath Capital platform around, giving us the technology stack to do it.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And I think because we are now at 10 after 12, I think we should start to wrap it up right here now. But how can you get started with Polymath? So if you'd like to get started with us, you can go over to polymath.network and you can click Get Started to create your free account on our free version of the Start Me Up Capital platform. If you have any other additional questions, you can email us at sales@polymath.network with any questions about tokenization or potential use cases or getting a demo. If you want to ask us other questions, just more ad lib freely, follow us on any of our social channels. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter/X, Instagram, and you can send us a message there, and also just follow us for updates on what we're doing, new use cases, new exciting things that we're going to be at, any conferences, etc. So thank you everybody for joining us. Once again, don't forget to subscribe. We also do a monthly newsletter with updates and news about the company, the industry as a whole. And we look forward to staying connected with everybody. Matt and Mike, I will let you also say a thank you and hand it off. And where can everyone find you guys and get in touch with you?
Thank you everyone for joining. This has been an awesome experience, and I'm really excited to see the amount of interest. Again, I think close to 300 people signed up for this webinar. So awesome that the industry is headed in this direction. And again, yeah, thanks for the Polymath team for the opportunity. They can reach us. LinkedIn is easy. I mean, search me, Matt Andelman, on LinkedIn. Go to our website, contact us through there. And Mike, you want to say any final words?
No, I think we've covered it. Don't forget Matt at abcfintech.io for direct contact for follow-ups from this. And we appreciate everybody joining us today.
Thank you, everybody. So I think from here we will sign off. If we did not get to your question and you still do have it, once again, just reach out to us on either socials or via email at sales or info or support@polymath.network, and we will get back to you.